I'm Pat Miller, and this is the Professional Photographer Podcast. Who likes to spend money on ads? Not me, and I'm sure not you. What if you could have a flood of visibility for your business without spending any money? Now, if you've been around social media and digital marketing like I have for a long time, I mean, heck, I'm old enough that I was there at the beginning. You've seen the algorithms and other methodologies make it tougher and tougher to organically get in front of your ideal client. So many people have had to turn to advertising. It's starting to get expensive. And I've heard for some, the results are getting worse and worse. So what if someone could come on this screen and teach you how to get in front of your ideal clients and get visibility for your photography studio for free? Ha-ha! That's what we're doing today. Tracy Beavers, friend of the program, expert on visibility without spending a dime. She's with us today to talk about Facebook groups and your Facebook profile. In fact, I'll bet you $1 that you're using your Facebook profile incorrectly. She's going to share a strategy that makes you go, that makes so much sense. I can't believe that I didn't do that already. We'll also talk about your email list, how it's so critically important to your business, and what do you do once you build it up? Are you ready for visibility for nothing? I know I am. Let's welcome in Tracy Beavers. Tracy, welcome to the Professional Photographer Podcast. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Pat. It's great to be with you. I am doing very well. Thanks.
Okay, we get to learn from you today. So not only does everyone get to meet you and know that you're super cool like I do, but we also get a chance to learn from you. If someone hasn't had the chance to learn about how you teach, give them the overview of what you do and what you teach people.
Sure. So I am Tracy Beavers. I'm a business and sales coach from Little Rock, Arkansas. And my forte for my business has evolved over the years into helping online entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, course creators, gain massive visibility online and grow their email list so they get that income that they really want. And what I've discovered is that it's beyond just online entrepreneurs, because every business needs to have an email list. Every business needs to have visibility. Every business needs to be able to get in touch with their people, their clients, their prospects. And so it's been kind of exciting. It's a wild ride. It's just sort of rippled on out.
If you ask the average photographer that's watching this, they might say, wait a minute, business visibility without having to advertise?
Yeah.
Come on, Tracy, that's not really possible, is it?
Oh, it is. Au contraire, mon frère.
So let's start with the big picture. So where are some of the big areas that we can look for visibility that we don't have to pay for? Because I think everybody's really tired of paying for ads.
Yeah, ads are just, okay. My personal experience with ads, I've run ads twice in my career, both times, thousands and thousands. I think probably all total, it was a $10,000 waste. I gained leads, but the leads were super expensive. And they didn't stay on my list. So they ended up not converting. So for some people, ads are a home run. They get inexpensive leads. The leads stick around and it's a great combo. But in my mind, I'm thinking, why don't we exhaust all of the free, organic ways we can grow a business before we start throwing money at something? And so because of the failure of the paid ads for me, I went back to the drawing board of, okay, I'm scrappy, I'm creative. I had an award-winning sales career in corporate. I know how to grow businesses. How do I do this in the online space? And so one of the biggest marketing tools we have is one that a lot of people have a very love-hate relationship with, and that's Facebook.
True.
Yeah, you say the word Facebook and you'll either get a or a But the reality is, for me, I like it because I can keep in touch with my college friends and people from my life, and I don't have to get on the phone for 3 hours and catch up, or mail photographs back and forth in the mail. But for me, I look at Facebook as a massive marketing tool for my business, and I'm going to use every nook and cranny of that platform. And I'm going to I have strategies in place where I can appear that I am everywhere all the time, but I'm not. And my ideal clients are attracted to me and my messaging and to my email list. The goal is to get them off of the online space and onto something that I own, which is my email list.
That is exciting. And then we have it to use forever. We're going to talk about email in a second, but
Correct.
start us on Facebook, because I think everyone's been there. Some people have turned their back on Facebook, but if we're going to reinvest or do a better job if we're already there,
Right.
where do we begin with Facebook?
The very basic thing that I teach about Facebook before you try to do anything else, before you even think about creating social media content for Facebook or for any platform, I want you to have your social media profile fully dialed in, where when somebody meets you in person at a chamber event or something like that around town, or you happen to be in a Facebook group with somebody, because Facebook groups are another strategy I teach. That's a great way to get visibility and attract people to you without ever having to promote anything. But before you do those things, you've got to make sure that you're I'm starting to call it the business card of Facebook. Because when somebody wants to go find you on social media, they're going to go look you up. Your Facebook personal profile is what they're going to find first. And if that thing doesn't say who you are, who you serve, how you serve them, and it doesn't have the entire menu of you, meaning all of the ways people could follow you, connect with you, find you, ask you a question, what have you, you have a major gap, a major leak in your visibility and marketing strategy, because nobody's going to stick around to try to solve the mystery of, okay, I met Tracy Beavers at a Rotary thing, and I've heard she's this amazing photographer, and I go look her up and there's no information there. It's honestly, it's just not very professional. If you're a serious CEO with a legit business, we've got to be proud of it, and we've got to make it easy on people to know exactly who we are. And also, I teach to turn that into a list growth funnel by the way you use the cover photo. So that's a foundational piece. You've got to have that dialed in first before you start trying to go all in on social media content, going into Facebook groups, using anything else on that platform.
Okay, this is home base. I want to ask about the cover photo in a second, but if someone's using Facebook now just to keep in touch with college friends or talk to their grandkids or something like that, making their personal profile a business card, what if they feel kind of weird about that, thinking, wait a minute, this is for my family and friends. I got to turn this into a business card. How do you talk them through that?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways you can do it. Now that when I started teaching this method, Facebook allowed one personal profile. Now they will allow a couple of different ones. So you could, if you wanted to, create a separate personal profile for your business. However, when somebody's searching for you, which one are they going to land on? It gets a little messy. I like to keep things simple. I like to build with ease. And for me, it is one personal profile. That's it. Mm-hmm. But I understand that. I get that question a lot. And what I come back to is I'm a whole person. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm a dog mom. I'm a sister. I'm a neighbor. I'm a friend. I'm a daughter. I'm an entrepreneur. And those people don't pay my bills. Mm-hmm. And so I am going to use that platform to its fullest extent to attract my ideal clients. That's my focus. I post pictures about our family. I post pictures about our dog. There are ways that if you want to keep that private, you still can. You can control who sees what when you post it in your feed. But what I'm talking about is letting the world know on that cover photo, your photograph, your intro section underneath your photograph, and then your links to your about and contact and basic information section, letting the world know exactly what you do. I'll give you a real quick example of this. One of my clients, Tracy Goodwin, she has a private practice in Cape Cod. She helps parents of newly diagnosed kids navigate their new diagnosis of ADHD, love their brain, navigate school, all the things. And she and her business partner wanted to come into the online space, and they hired me to help them. And she was resistant to use her personal profile. And so I let that go because I've got other strategies I can teach you. But I think I finally wore her down because she said, okay, fine. I'm tired of you talking about it. I'm going to do it. If it stinks and I hate it, I'm shutting it down in 30 days. I said, deal. So we maxed that thing out, Pat, within 1 week. 1 week, she had referrals coming in because people in her life kind of knew what she did, but they did not know what she does. And they certainly didn't know how to truly, unless they had her cell phone number, most of them don't, So she was getting referrals from people that were like, Tracy, I'm so sorry. I had no idea the depth of what you offer. And, I've got a parent you need to connect with. So anyway, I mean, that's the power of it, really.
Yeah. Before we go on to groups, let's talk about cover photos just for a second. You dropped a little tasty nugget but didn't elaborate. What do you mean use our cover photo? Like, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. So the cover photo is in the shape of a billboard. And so let's use this billboard to our advantage. And what I want you to showcase here is something that leads to your email list. So for me, when somebody sees my personal profile, most of the time, unless I'm in the launch of one of my programs, you're going to see me showcase my free Facebook group, because I help online entrepreneurs primarily, and they want a Facebook group where they can get support, they can promote anytime, they can be encouraged to set coffee chats, and the rules are not so strict they don't feel like they can move around. Plus, I offer list growth and visibility, and they're looking for that as well. So on my cover photo, I'm going to say something very hooky about coming to join my free Facebook group, what's in it for them to do it. And when they click on that cover photo, in the description box that opens up, that's a little known secret sauce here. That's where I can put the hyperlink. I can put the what's in it for them to join my group, and I can put the hyperlink. So in terms of being a photographer, for example, if you are a photographer that photographs families, that's your jam, that's your specialty. So you could showcase something on that cover photo. Top 10 things to consider when hiring a photographer for your family, or the top 5 things you need to remember to bring to the photo shoot for your family. Or the top 8 tips to get your kids to cooperate and wear the clothes you want them to wear for the photo shoot, right? And so you showcase that there. And if you have a click here, or because that cover photo is just a static graphic, you can put a hyperlink on it, but it's not a hot hyperlink. So it's not, but when you click on that cover photo, there's a description box that opens up. You can put your information and your hyperlink there. So when somebody lands there and they go, oh my stars, Tracy's a photographer. I need a family photographer. She's going to tell me how to wrangle my toddlers into the clothes I want them to wear. I'm grabbing that thing. And I land on your email list. And that's when the relationship truly starts.
Okay. We're filling up notebook pages listening to you. This is awesome stuff. Let's move on to Facebook groups, because it's another big way to use Facebook.
Yep.
And we are a local photographer, and we're going to find a Facebook group. Where do we find our ideal clients, and how do we drive Facebook groups?
So I want you to visualize your ideal client. Who are they? What do they want? What are they interested in? Where are you likely to find them? A really easy example is the family photographer again. Moms usually make the decision in the family photographer. So it is very likely that you have Facebook groups of moms that are local to you. We do here in Little Rock. We have Little Rock Power Moms. We have even ones where there's female entrepreneurs. A lot of them are moms. We have Central Arkansas Entrepreneurs Connect or something or other. So search Facebook groups for your local area. And if your local area is called something like downtown North Little Rock is called Argenta, you might want to search the word Argenta in addition to North Little Rock. So think through what are the names of the geographic areas that are close to you. And then look for keywords like mom, women, female, and see what pops up. Now, when it comes to groups, if you're just starting out with this strategy, don't make the same mistake that I did. Be better than me. I am an overachiever. I listed like 10 groups I wanted to be in. And by the time the first week of it was over, I about lost my mind. And I thought, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. So pick like 2 to 3 max groups to go into and just get the lay of the land. Finding Facebook groups to be in is a lot like trying on clothes. You go into the store, you pick a whole bunch of stuff off the rack, you go in, you try it on, you see how it works, and then you decide if you want to buy it or not. Same thing with a group. You got to get in there, you got to try it on, you got to move around in it, you got to get the lay of the land, and then decide if it's the right vibe for you. If it's a group full of negative Nellies and all they're doing is griping about being a mom and how hard it is, I'm out of there. Nope, not sticking around. And so what you want to do in these groups is very simple. If you do nothing else besides join the group and lurk, you are going to have a bird's eye view of your ideal clients. You're going to know what they're saying. How are they feeling about their family photo shoot? What are the questions they're asking? Anybody know a photographer? Anybody know how I can get my kids to wear the clothes I want them to wear? And that's going to tell you what messaging is going to attract those people to you when you can solve that problem for them. So even if you don't do anything other than join, you're going to have great market research. Then what I want you to do is interact. And all you have to do is be a warm, kind human being that wants to help other warm, kind human beings. We're not selling anything. We're not promoting anything, because a lot of these groups, they don't allow promotion. And that's okay. You can still get massive visibility that way, as long as your Facebook personal profile is dialed in, like we just talked about. That has to happen, because if I send you into Facebook groups and you're getting visible, but somebody clicks on your personal profile and they go there and they have no way to know how to contact you, and your about section says no workplaces to show, and there's certainly no place for them to land on your email list, that's a waste of your time. So dial in the personal profile first, then go into these groups and see where you can be of service. And if they allow you to post something, you don't have to be promotional. You could post, hey, would you like to know the top 5 ways I get toddlers to behave at a family photo shoot? Boom, boom, boom. What are your best tips for wrangling toddlers at a family photo shoot? You're not promoting anything. You're simply giving value. But you're showcasing your expertise that way without having to showcase your expertise in an obvious way. So I don't have to say I have 25 years of experience and award-winning sales career. I don't have to say I have coached hundreds of entrepreneurs over the years and and give all my credentials. People can see my expertise by the way I answer the questions. And then they're like, oh, she seems to know what she's talking about. Then they click on my personal profile. They go there. They slide right down to my email list. Half the people that join my free Facebook group every month, more than half, 75%, I've never met, I've never invited them to the group. They found it because of my visibility strategies in other people's groups.
We've tricked out the profile. We've found our ideal client groups.
Yeah.
We're showing up consistently. We're being a human being. We're giving value. And you rightly pointed out that many of these groups don't want spammers or promoters. And you kind of touched on it a little bit, but walk us through the formula of how we can promote without promoting, because you did it organically, but that's like watching a NASCAR race by. Like, slow this down for me. How do I take my offer and turn it into something that isn't promotional, yet it's completely promotional?
Yeah. So when you are answering the questions, first of all, so somebody says, what do I need to know? What are the questions I need to ask when I'm hiring a family photographer? And you are a family photographer. You can simply comment and say, you could say, I've been a family photographer now for 10 years. Here are the questions that I love for people to ask me. I hope, and you give them the questions to ask, and you say, I hope this was helpful. You could even say something like, happy to chat anytime. That you're not promoting anything, but you've said, I'm a photographer of 10 years. You could even be a little more bold and say, I'm an award-winning photographer.
And good looking. I'm good looking and award-winning.
And super nice. I'm a super nice person.
Nice.
Yeah.
Please.
But by answering that question, people are going to see that and they're going to go, oh, that person has 10 years of experience and has given a very helpful answer and hasn't said, hey, by the way, I have openings this week if you want me to shoot your family. You're not salesy. You're being a kind human being who's helping another one. And that goes further than anything else that you could try to promote. And so you are demonstrating your expertise in that way.
If someone's watching this thinking, now, wait a minute, there isn't a Facebook group that has my ideal client in it. Is starting a Facebook group a good idea? And what does it take as an administrator to run a Facebook group that isn't terrible?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's the reason why I started my free Facebook group, because I couldn't find one that I liked. And I thought, well, I'll just do it myself. And it's turned into my best source of leads, sales conversions, and email list growth. So it's really been a wonderful marketing tool for my business. When it comes to a free Facebook group, it makes sense for most businesses. So you have to ask yourself, okay, what are my people looking for? So for a photographer, especially if you are a family photographer that goes with the family from newborn to family, retirement photos and things like the whole scope of their life, then inviting them into a free group where you are the expert and they can come in and ask questions and you're there to help them, that's a win. you have essentially invited somebody into your home. It's like walking into somebody's house and they're going, "Hey, Pat, it's so great to see you. The bathroom's over here. The cocktails are over here. The piano's over here if you want to play it. Ask me anything. I'm going to go get you some more cheese dip." And it's this community where that's what we eat here in the South.
I love it.
But yeah, and so it's just this place where what I want to have happen when people are creating their content and they're getting out in the online space is I want to have a way for that ideal client to come into your world and be literally caught up in what my friend Crystal Profit calls the spider web of you. And one of the ways they can do that is being in your community, swimming in your content and your knowledge. And it does not take that long to manage it, to grow it. It takes intention is the thing. People think it's an enormous task. It's not. It just takes organization and intention, just like anything else. When I started building this online business and I started my free Facebook group, I was building alongside my very stressful corporate job and our 2 kids that played every sport that had a ball. We were so busy, but I still managed it. So if you're thinking about starting your free group, first of all, name it something that SEO will pick up on when people are searching for a group like yours. And then make sure the membership entry questions are set up in a way that people want to give you their email address when they come in. There's a way to do that. That's another secret sauce piece. Then decide, how many days a week do I have the time to make content for these people? For me, it was Monday. Thursday, I was going to go live in my group and give some tips. And then I was going to do an inspiration post on Friday to send them home for a great weekend. That's all I had time for. As my business has grown and I've hired an assistant, now we're posting in there a couple times a day, 7 days a week. But I didn't start that way. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have to be difficult.
If you can picture like a waterfall, picture a raging waterfall. That's what we're going to get right now, because we're going to turn our attention to Tracy and say, Tracy, talk to us about email lists. Why are they so important, and why should we have one, and why are they valuable to the business?
Yeah, here comes the waterfall.
Here it comes.
You know how strong I am about this. Yes. So I will get on a soapbox about that. So stop me if you need to.
No, go.
Every single type of business, no matter what it is, needs an email list. Doesn't matter if it's retail, brick and mortar, service-based, product-based, network marketing, online business, whatever it is, they need to have an email list, and they need to have an email list they own. I was talking to a gal the other day who's a financial advisor, and her company is developing a platform where that will have an email service provider in it. And I encouraged her. I said, if it were me, I would have my own email service provider. I would not build an email list on somebody else's platform that they own and I don't, unless you have a way to quickly grab your contacts if you need to have an exit strategy. So find an email service provider. There are so many that are user-friendly. One that is excellent for creatives like photographers is called Flowdesk. And it's Flow with no W, Flodesk. I don't think they have a free version, but it's not super expensive. The reason why I like it for creatives is because it's aesthetically pleasing. And it's also very easy to use. Tech is not my love language. If I can figure out how to use that platform, anybody can. But we have to have an email list. And what's happened in the social media space in the last few years is an example of why. So TikTok in the last, in recent months, under fire, pulled off the platform. Now it's back up. Now nobody knows if it's going to stick around. I pray that those people building a business on TikTok have gotten all of those clients of theirs and prospective clients onto an email list, because their income disappeared the minute that platform shut down. Facebook and Instagram got really sideways about 2 years ago and went dark for about 36 hours. And the people that made money during that time were the people that had an email list. One of my mentors made $14,000 sending a couple of emails to her list. I don't even think she really realized the platforms were down. But when the lights came back on, I'm in the Meta Leaders Network, thousands and thousands of business owners lost a lot of money because they had no way to contact their clients. So get your ideal clients onto a list that you own, because the other thing is you want them to remember you. You want to land in what I call their living room, which is their inbox. They are far more likely to see what you have to say in their inbox versus on social media or in a private message or something like that. I would even argue maybe even a text message, because how many times have we looked at a text message meant to respond and then the light turns green and we've got to go on down the road and we don't ever get back with that person? So that you're landing in their inbox and you're staying top of mind so that when they go to schedule more photographs for their family, or they're a real estate agent and they need a photographer to come in and help not stage, but help photograph the property, or whatever it is you offer as a photographer, you've got to be able to turn your ideal clients into your best source of referrals. And that's how you do that, by staying in their inbox. And then you've got to have a way to pull your prospective clients off the online space into your email service provider. So then you can start to nurture them, and they'll remember you when it's time to get their photographs.
Now that you know how passionate Tracy is about email list, if you listen back to the other questions that she's provided, every step has driven to getting people on the list, from the header on Facebook to the engagement inside Facebook groups. Is there a growth strategy for the email list that you haven't shared yet?
Oh gosh, I have 10 strategies for email list growth. I mean, everything that I do in my business goes directly to my list. I say always, there's that old saying, always be closing, always be list building. All roads lead to list building. So my social media content, there's a call to action with it. Now, a call to action could be engagement. How do you feel about these growth tips I've just given you? Or how do you feel about whatever? That's great for engagement, to getting to people to comment and like and heart, and the algorithm loves that. But a stronger strategy is to say, tell a funny story about how the toddlers weren't behaving. Can you relate to this? If you'd like to overcome this at your next family photo shoot, grab my free guide to XYZ, to wrangling your toddlers and bribing them into doing what you want them to do for an hour. And they click on it, they go there, they opt in, they land on your list. So your social media content needs to build your list. If you're a podcast guest like I am right now, when you say, where can everybody find you to connect with you? I'm going to give them something that gives them an opportunity to potentially land on my list.
Well, where can we connect with you right now, Tracy? Come on, it's a softball. Do it.
It's so funny. So I have an outstanding Facebook group. We've talked about it. It's called Be a Confident Entrepreneur. Get visible, grow your email list and your income. And they're welcome to join it. Just answer the membership entry question so I know that they're a legitimate Facebook account, and we'll let them in.
Very good. So we now know what to do on Facebook. We're getting obsessive about building the list. On our way out the door here, touch on, we've got the list. How do we find the rhythm that's right for us? Are we sending weekly emails? Are we creating a bunch of different newsletters, birthday emails? What are some of the things that come to mind that we can do with the list once we have it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it really depends on what bandwidth you have as a business owner. So if you're just starting out, emailing your list and emailing once a week just feels like too much, that's okay. Whatever people start with, and this goes for even creating social media content, whatever you start with, you need to pick something you can be consistent with. Because the minute we lose our consistency, that's where the wheels fall off the bus. That's where the growth stops. And we don't want that to happen. So if you can email your list once a week, that's awesome. If that feels like too much, then dial it back to once every 2 weeks or once a month. But whatever you do, pick something that you can stay with long term. Because the last thing we want to do is email our list once a month for 6 months. And then we're exhausted, we're tired, we're sick of it. And we stop for 6 months and they don't hear from us. And then you email them again and they're going to go, who's Tracy Beavers? How do I know her? I didn't sign up for this list. Unsubscribe. And that is not going to help the growth of your email deliverability, which is another topic for another time. But you don't want to land in the junk folder. And so one of the ways you prevent that is fun ways of getting your audience to respond to your emails, which another story for another time, but also being consistent with the send out and not allowing a lot of unsubscribes to happen at one time.
As our last thought, inspire us on the importance of visibility. Why is this such a big deal, and how will it help us grow the business? I know you do it every day, all the time, but if someone's going to follow you down the road of growing visibility for free? Like, just paint the picture of this importance and what it does for the business when you're successful.
Well, people can't buy or hire anything they can't see. You don't want to be the best kept secret. You want people to be able to connect with you easily, find you if they're Googling you or, what have you. And even from a local level, if you're out networking, that is massive visibility. The follow-up on that is where the key is. But visibility is just so important because, again, people can't buy what they can't see.
Tracy Beavers, thanks for coming on the Professional Photographer Podcast. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Professional Photographer Podcast. I really enjoyed this week's episode. Isn't Tracy the best? I told you she was going to be awesome. If you enjoyed the show as well, hit like and subscribe, tell a friend, buy a billboard, do whatever it is, but help us grow this thing. Because if you are getting something out of it, think about your super cool friends and what they might be able to get out of it as well. So help us spread the word. And you could also leave a comment on the episode and let us know, what did Tracy say that made you go, oh, like that Facebook profile tip? Absolute money. So leave us a comment and let us know what you loved about the episode. The other thing we want to remind you of, if you're not yet a member of Professional Photographers of America, you're just missing it. PPA offers incredible resources like equipment insurance, top-notch education, and a supportive community of photographers ready to help you succeed. It's perfect for photographers who are serious about growing their business in a sustainable and profitable way. At PPA, you belong here. Discover more about membership at ppa.com. That's ppa.com. I'm Pat Miller, founder of the Small Business Owners Community. Thanks for joining us on this journey. I appreciate you tuning in, and we'll be right back here real soon with another edition of the Professional Photographer Podcast. See you next time.